Today we're gonna sketch somewhere in Sentosa Island, specifically the quayside isle where Sentosa Cove is. Well, Sentosa Island, it's about 500 hectares. It has a lot of interesting attractions. It has spa retreats, lots of hotels and accommodations, including Universal Studios Singapore. It has an Adventure Cove water park, Madame Tussauds, and many other attractions. Specifically on the quayside isle, we'll be having lunch at Mykonos on the bay. It's at Sentosa Cove. It has good Greek food, in my opinion anyway, including vegetarian options. The staffs are friendly, well-trained, good food, good service, fantastic view of the water, good selection of drinks, and very much a dog-friendly place. So today, on the 2nd of January 2021, we came out to play, but it was raining cats and dogs, really heavy. It's been raining for more than 24 hours, I think. Actually rained the whole day yesterday as well. So here we are at Mykonos. So as usual, we will be sketching with our Palomino Blackwing pencil. I'm using the Hahnemuller cold press sketchbook. It's probably about 250 GSM, and I draw broad shape, as you can see the photo reference on the bottom left, bottom right. There was a couple having their lunch and drinks, and I was just going for broad shape. I didn't care about the eyes or eyelashes or ears or things like that. It was just basically the broad shape I was after. There's also another family on the right hand side, but those figures I kind of, even more, I treat it with even more simplicity, if you like. And then I draw in the kitchen. There was chefs. Later on I talked to the two chefs, and I sort of put in more of the details and surrounding the figures. Starters came and I took a break from drawing. So while waiting for the mains, I started coloring. Start with the figures. I looked at the light blue shirt the man was wearing, and I dab in a bit of a darker blue, just to give it a bit of a contrast. I normally charge two different colors in while it's wet. In this case, blue and red. A bit of a purple in as well to create interest. I decided to use my watch type palette. I have a review of that with a link up on the top right corner. Well, let's continue with the sketch. I'm actually speeding up the video itself, and as you can see now, I'm just putting a overlapping shape at the back of the figures to make the figures sort of pop. There's also a sort of a signboard on top, which I decided to use various dark colors to combine to give a sense of shape. And now I am trying to create some background, making the bottles on the left pop, or at least using negative shape to create the bottles. Same thing with the figures on the right, some negative shapes to create the figures. And then I decided to put some plant, various greens, splatter, and to get some nice sort of effect, if you like, to create a bit of a foreground objects. That should give me sort of some foreground, some meat, and some background objects with different colors and different scheme. I'm actually just enjoying myself, not thinking too much about what's going on. In some ways I didn't really have a plan. Sometimes in urban sketching you really don't have a recipe going in, and which is bad. You always should have a recipe going in. But when I'm out there and I'm having lunch and I'm trying to not be rude to my family who is spending time with me, I'm just trying to in a way speed up my painting. In some ways it is just to hammer one out, if you like. But in reality, well, they were enjoying my company and I'm enjoying their company, but it's just that I don't want to take too much time painting and ignoring my family. So in some ways it is just going in and enjoy the process, but at the same time maybe even have some conversation going on the side. And now I'm just putting in a bit of shade. There's a few lights in the restaurant, and above which I could clearly see shades, below which the lights was casting slightly brighter lights in the restaurant. So that's what I try to do with the shades on the top of the sketchbook. I left some of the whites of the chairs, and then I decided to put the texture or design of the floor, taking careful sort of sketch of the size, near, bigger, and far smaller. That should give a sense of depth on the ground. Usually, when you paint and sketch urban sketcher style, you need to be aware of creating receding objects. And one of the ways to do it is by lines. The other way to do it is by size of the object. So if you look at the design on the floor, I try to create the sense of depth by having the size shrink towards the back, if you like. But on a two-dimensional paper, there's actually no such thing as a back. So you just need to create that sense of illusion of depth or distance, if you like. So for the lighted, because it's quite warm light in the restaurant, I decided to use cool yellow and then dab in a bit of orange to it to create a bit of a warmer ambiance, if you like. Nothing surprising there. I left a bit of a white space at the bottom right corner of the sketchbook. Now it's handy with my name and the date, and the design sort of work out because I've left it white. Oftentimes for beginners, you just want to color everything, right, down to the tiny detail. Sometimes it's nice to just leave white and play with whites, play with leaving whites, and play with just seeing things in a different way. You don't have to color everything. It's not necessary in a sketch. Sometimes leaving white is actually more interesting. So I hope you try that as well, leaving as much white as you can get away with. So I think I'm almost done. I'm not going to do too much. Maybe just put in a bit more hair colors, a bit more skin tone, some wine red in a wine glass, some background to make the figures pop a little bit more, a bit darker on the bottles on the left hand side, and so on and so forth. But I think that's basically it. So I hope you have enjoyed this. This is my first urban sketches of 2021, and I've enjoyed doing it. It was kind of fun, and I tried not to spend too much time away from my family who was having lunch with me. It wasn't that nice to do it, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed. The dessert came, and then I went to talk to the chefs at the back. Lovely chaps, two of them. The food is very good. Thank you very much. We had an excellent lunch. And handsome. So that's it, my first urban sketches of 2021.